I'm gonna have to go on there with you. Oh Lord, Jesus, it ain't so, Lord. You get it? I called her earlier trying to get her online. Hold on, let me see. I hope she can get back on for me. Let me call her. I know, hold on, let me call her. Hold on. She was just on there, literally. I saw her sit there. I don't know what happened. I don't know what happened. Oh God. Let me call you back.
I done broke out in the sweat. I done broke out in the sweat.
All right, here we go to the wall.
What?
Hold on. Hello. We're here with the Women's Round Table, and the host Pam is here, and we're gonna release this flow to her. Let her take it from here.
All righty. Good evening. Thank you for joining us tonight on our Women's Table Talk. I am your host, Lady P, aka known as Pam Pam. My host, Shirley Russell, will be joining us tonight. Maybe she'll come in. Maybe she's having some difficulties. You know, sometimes we older people are not tech people. So anyway, if not, Lamarck Thomas, oh my God, he always steps in when needed. So anyway, tonight, I just want you to click and share. Also, in the comment box, let us know where you're viewing from. We would like to know that. But anyway, tonight, I want to talk about boundaries with your adult children. It's a subject that I didn't realize everywhere. Everybody I talk to is dealing with some type of children, especially when they're over the age of 18. And sometimes kids think they're adults when they're 17. But anyway, I just want to talk about, and I want to throw some questions out here tonight. The first question is it a good thing to be friends with your adult children?
You answer that question?
Yes, I need to know because I have a daughter. My daughter, she's 40. And so, when she was like not young, but when she was old, I mean, she was grown, but she said, "Mama," she said, "why don't you be my friend?" She said, "All of my friends' mother, they're friends." She said they go out and they get tattoos together and all of that old stuff. I said, "Well, Brandy, I'm your mother. I'm your parent. I don't think you ready or can handle me being your friend." Hey,
Right.
there goes Shirley Russell.
Hey.
Thank the Lord, and I'm out of here. Now, Miss Shirley is on you, baby.
You rescued him, but that's okay. Bye.
We'll catch you the next time. So long.
All right. But anyway, Shirley, before you, I was telling the audience that I asked a question: is it good to be friends with your children, your adult children? The reason I asked that because my daughter one time had a lot of friends who their mom, she thought her friends and moms were friends until she learned out later that it was not good. So now she tells me, she said, "Mom," she said, "you remember I used to always tell you I had a friend that her mom used to go out and get tattoos and stuff with her?" She said, "Thank you for not doing that with me." Which I didn't do it, and she doesn't have tattoos either. I'm not knocking tattoos, but I'm saying this is what she wanted me to do. And sometimes we as parents have to, when you believe something or you have standards or integrity, or you feel like it's the right thing to do when you're training your kids up, like the words say, train your children up in the way they should go, and when they're old, they won't depart. Sometimes we as parents, we look like the bad person. But we have to allow our children to grow up. And we have to let them see things that we want them to see, but sometimes they don't see them because we're saying it. And you know what? And when things is coming from us, they don't receive us. Now, I'm talking about my kids. I'm not talking about other people. Maybe your relationship with your children is, y'all have a perfect relationship, but I'm talking about my kids. I was a single mom with 5 kids. And I was told I was strict. I was told that I was hard. I wouldn't let them just do anything. There was boundaries in my house. And, you have to, as a parent, that's why you cannot be friends with your children. You have to set boundaries, and they're not going to like all those boundaries. They're going to think that you are mean, and you're not. You are a parent. So Shirley Russell, I want you to talk about, is it good for we as parents to be friends with our children? That's one question on the floor tonight, and I'm going to ask another one.
Well, first of all, I'm glad to be on the show tonight, Miss Pam. And I hope that I can add some positive insight to the boundaries for our adult children.
Yes.
And as far as being friends, I think, number one, we should stay on the course of being a parent. And sometimes when you indulge into being a friend with your child, sometimes it leads you to in the wrong direction, into areas that you're not ready to go in. I think that you should focus on the fact that you are the parent and they maintain their respect for you. I think if you become a friend, I mean, it's okay to be a friend, but I think if you become a friend like their friends, then you would lose a lot of respect. If they look at you as they look at their friends, I think that you should maintain that parent relationship with your child.
Yes.
I think too many parents, they're young parents, and they want to stay young, so they want to be like their children, which is a great mistake. So to answer that question, I think that you should focus on being a parent rather than being just a friend.
Right. Yeah. And that is so true because, we had a conversation earlier, and I was telling you that I had a friend that mom allowed them to smoke weed and drink syrup and drop pills, though they call them black Valiums or something back in the day in the 70s. And I asked her, why did she allow her children to smoke in front of her? And she said, well, the reason I do that because I'd rather for them to do it in front of me than do it out there and get caught and go to jail. But I don't think that was a good answer for me, because you should even teach them. You should, matter of fact, you shouldn't even be doing it with them. If you want to smoke your weed or whatever, you need to do it with your friends, not your children, you know? And so I just thought that was such a bad example as a parent. And these were grown children. But you know what? She didn't do it when they was grown. She started out with them when they was in high school.
Oh my gosh.
And when they got grown, they got hooked on drugs. They got hooked on drugs. Now, whose fault is that? Now, to me, that's the parent. Where was the boundaries there? None. That's a household that anything goes. And guess what? It's nothing but destruction. So that's why I say we as parents have to be examples to our children. We have to be role models to our children. And if we're not, they're going to look for it in the streets. That's what they do. They go out and find somebody, and somebody will show them another way. And them showing them the other way, that don't mean that the way they show them is always right.
Right.
That's why we as parents should show them the right way.
Right. You know, you have to be careful about being a parent pleaser. You know what I mean? You want your kids to like you, and you're willing to walk in whatever direction they're telling you.
Mm-hmm.
And they're asking you to walk just so that you can be a friend or hang out with your child. So that's definitely a wrong direction to go.
That is so true. And you know what? That is so true. But I tell you what is the difference in boundaries when the adult children are in your home than when your adult children have their own place? I mean, what boundaries are there? Are there any boundaries when you go to their home? I mean, I know when they live in your home, there's boundaries, but what about when you walk into their door?
Well, I think when you walk into their door, you got to respect their domain too. Okay, because you can walk in their house and tell them what they need to do or what they should do, or because they're in their house. Right. But when they come to your house, it's a different story, you know. Right. They got to maintain their respect and boundaries that you have taught them. This is what I expect in my house. Okay. And you go to their house and they're doing something that you don't particularly like, then I think that you should leave. That is true. So you should. Go ahead. You can't force your boundaries on an adult child's home. You can't do it. No matter what. You can't do it. They're not going to let you do it. And a lot of parents don't know how to let go. Yeah. And then this is going to cause a lot of hurt to you, because you're going to feel rejected because they didn't abide by what you're asking. And you don't let them drink or smoke in your house, and you walk in their house and they're doing it. And you're still going to feel they're disrespecting you. But you walked into that domain. So you have to kind of move back. Yes. And we have to. And the thing about it, but we got to know when to move back. We need to know when to let go. You know what I'm saying? And as much as I love my children, you know, I think of an incident when my babies was little, and I was trying to show them how to clean up, you know, make their beds, clean the room up and all that. But where I went wrong, and I didn't think I was at the time, don't get me wrong, I would tell them to clean their room up. And when I went in there, their clean is not my clean. My clean is turning over the beds, taking everything out from under the beds. I don't like stuff under the bed, wiping stuff down, straightening up the drawers. That was my clean. So I would go in there myself and just do the whole room myself. But what was I teaching them? I was teaching them that every time they don't do it right, I'm gonna come in and rescue them. So then, right, and then and then they knew you were gonna do it. So why would they, do thorough cleaning? They just say, let's just do this and get out of here because mama gonna redo it anyway. Right. But guess what? because I did not do it correctly when they was younger, when they got grown, it was hard for me to let go. Because when I went into their homes, I'm being honest, I'm just exposing myself. If I feel that something wasn't right, and especially with my grandbabies, oh my God, it's on. If I saw something that I didn't like, I would tell them, and my daughter told me, Mama, no,
No. So it's like, really, them is my grandbabies, you know. So we as mothers, as parents, I guess if we didn't say get it right with the kids, let's get it right with the grandbabies. But they're not our children. So guess what? My children that have children have set boundaries with me, and it hurt me. I did not like it because I was saying someone right. I think I could have did it a better way. And then it's me. I feel like the teaching that I taught my daughters and my sons, I would think that what I taught you, I feel like it was good teaching. So when you get to in your families, you would carry that on, but they forget everything that you know. It's like, did you grow up in my house? You know, when you see someone, they do something, are you my child? I told one of my daughters, I said, I'm going back to Parkland to see if you my child. I think they switch babies. I said, I think they don't switch babies on me, which I know she's my child, you know what I'm saying? But I'm just saying her whole personality is like, oh my God. But I'm telling you what, but since she has grown up, she's 40 now. And I'm talking about, we have conversations. She said, Mama, thank you. But it wasn't always a thank you. I called her my prodigal daughter. She gave me trouble. And I'm talking about now, I look at her and hear our conversations. Man, she praises me. I mean, you know what I'm saying? Like, for giving me my flowers now. She's doing that now. But I'm saying, I wanted her to do it back then because it was hurtful to me. You know, and I heard a pastor say one time, parents, quit letting your kids put you on a guilt trip. They'll say, you ain't this, you ain't that, you ain't done nothing for me. They do that. But guess what? We have to ignore that. That's why you can't be my friend. I'm going to be your parent. And parenting don't stop because they're in their own homes. You still have to parent. You just parent in a different way. So, and I had to learn that. And it was I had to learn it the hard way. So now, you know, like I said, we can be on platforms like this and tell people from our story what we went through, how we handle things wrong, how we handle things right, and what are we handling? I mean, how are we handling it today? You see what I'm saying? Because we still parents. But
Pam, I'm still handling that. I still have a daughter that's away from me, and I'm not sure what the problem is with us, but I decided that I raised her up in the church to abide by the rules of the word. And I feel like that God's word is true. And that if you live for him, that he will save your seed. I had to let that go because, she very seldom calls me. And I call her and check on her, her little girl who is 2. And I've only seen her once. Right. But I had to learn to accept the boundaries that she gave me and wait for her to come forth, and not force myself on her. Right. When I spent the night with her, the first time I saw my 2-year-old granddaughter, when I walked in, I could sense that her boundaries were not like mine, although she was, she's very respectable, but I had to watch myself, Yeah. And so I didn't like it. I couldn't really be myself, but I had to accept it because I was in her home. Those were her boundaries, and I had to respect her. That's right. And hopefully one day she'll realize that that I'm her mother, and I'm the only mother she'll ever have. That is true. The only things that I've done for her I thought was for her good. One thing about it, we don't really know very much about setting boundaries when we were young parents, because like you, I had 4 children and I was single. So I did the best I could, but if I could start over, it would not be the same. I'd work on those boundaries, but I would work on them. I'd work on them in a gentle way. It wouldn't be a force, but you have to work on things that you won't, so the kids won't be upset. They'll learn to accept it. And that is true. We have to pour into our children, and you have to pour in positive. Right. You have to feed them positive because we live in a negative world. We know. And so, yeah, I understand that. But, I've shared with you about my oldest son, too. He went to the Navy. Very painful situation. I mean, I saw him on Thanksgiving Day. He came up and hugged me, and he kissed me on my jaw. And he always said he loved me. But when it comes down to giving me a call or a visit,
No, he don't do that. And and the thing about it, we as parents, single parents, and Shirley, I have explained. I mean, I have talked to you about this here.
Right.
What we're living now, we're not living in God's perfect plan, because God's plan was for the husband, the wife, and the children. It's so many single homes nowadays. Oh my God. Majority of people are single homes, or if they're not single homes, they're in a blended family.
Right.
There's a stepfather or a stepmother.
Right.
It's not the real parents. And it's a lot of homes like that today. But if we would have stayed with the plan of God, we would not be in the shape we're in today. I never said when I was a little girl, I'm going to grow up. You know how they used to ask me, little girl, what you want to do when you grow up? I never said I'm going to grow up and have 5 babies and I'm going to live by myself and raise my babies by myself and I don't want nobody telling us what to do. No, that wasn't God's plan. It wasn't my plan, but it happened. But like I say, I took what I had and I just dealt, like you play cards. And when you get them cards and whatever, and you turn those cards over, you don't know what you have until you turn them over. So that's what I did with my life. I turned it over and I looked at it. And in my hand was 5 babies and myself. And I asked myself, okay, at this point of your life, what are you going to do? What are you going to do with this hand dealt with you? I'm going to play it. I'm going to play this hand. I didn't ask my mama to play it. I didn't ask my dad to play it. I didn't ask my sisters and brothers to play it. That was what was dealt to me.
Right.
And I thank God I really do. And I know that, like you said, your daughter that's distant from you, my son that's distant from me, we have to just let God be God in their life, because we will stress ourselves out as parents trying to make our kids love us. And I tell them all the time, yeah, I would love for you to love me because I love y'all, but you're going to respect me.
Right.
You're going to come around me. Those are my boundaries. You're grown now. You're adults now. You're going to respect me. So the thing about it, hey, that's what we have to do. That we have to let go. And when they're bumping their heads out there, I want to go put a pad between their wall, but I can't. I got to let them bump their head. And hopefully if they bump their head too many times, they'll come to their senses. Right. And hopefully your daughter will come around and say, Mama, I'm sorry. But if she never says, I'm sorry, we have to still love them. We have to still love them. But like I say, the boundaries with adult children is totally different from when they was younger. We have to stay in our lane. We have to move. We have to move ourselves, even when we don't want to. I know I didn't want to. I wanted to protect my children from, I know how people was out here. I wasn't really in the streets like, I was at home washing, cooking, and cleaning up, but still, I knew that there was people out there did not care for them. I knew that, and I wanted to protect them, but sometimes you can't.
You can't.
We can't, but we try as parents. And I think as women, I believe that, I don't want to say the man don't care about their children, but because we done birthed them, we done carried them 9 months, that connection is really strong when it comes to our kids. When a woman go to a hospital and she's pregnant and she's giving her baby up for adoption, I think that's a hard thing to do when you have carried that baby and you holding this baby in your hand and you got to get that baby over to somebody else. That's got to be a hard thing. I know the love I have for my kids. So I'm just saying tonight, if you're online, if you have any comments, comment. Let us know. What do you think? If you have adult children, comment. Let us know, how did you handle being a parent with adult children? Tell me what boundaries your children set for you. What boundaries did you set for them when they was in your home? If they're living in your home, because sometimes kids have to come back home and live. When they're in your home, what are your boundaries when they come back? Do you just let them stay there without working? Do you let them stay there and don't pay bills? What do you do? So,
Pam, just from, they feel entitled when they're staying with you. Mama owes me this.
Yes.
What she has belongs to me. They don't feel like they're responsible to give you, because, my son stayed with me.
Mm-hmm.
And, he made promises. I'm going to do this. I'm going to do that. But he never really did. Because he felt that what I had was his. he was entitled to what I had,
So
but
you
he's learned some things from it now,
mm-hmm.
but that's how they feel.
Mm.
But I would say that if I had taught them the boundaries a lot concerning that
Mm-hmm.
when they were younger, he would understand it better. But sometimes when you talk to your children when they become adults, they don't understand why they should do certain things.
Mm-hmm.
If you didn't teach them earlier about what to do. Responsibility, right.
Right. Okay. So, well, when an adult child come to your home, he's working. Was he working?
Yes. Initially, he was not. That's why he came. But he did get a job. Yeah, he did.
Okay. And so he did help you when he did get a job?
He didn't do what he should have done. He did
Right.
not. Just to be honest about it, he did not.
Okay. Okay.
So I didn't really push him. I didn't really push him like I should have. And I think that I should have pushed him more because that would have helped him to understand that it's not all about him, but he has to contribute wherever he goes.
That's right.
That's a responsibility.
That is so true. That is true.
Mm-hmm.
That is really good because, like I said, I've had children come in and out my revolving door here. That's why I just told them I'm gonna fix this house up and I'm going somewhere else. Y'all can have it.
I told mine I was going to Alaska.
You can have it. I'm gonna fix it up, and you don't have no repairs. I'm gonna get out of here. And I said that once I retired, I said, yeah, this is y'all home, and I want y'all to have it, but I'm trying to move further. But anyway, yeah. But like I said, I love my kids. I know you love yours, and even those people out there in the audience, I know that we love our parents. We love our children as parents. But like you say, I didn't realize boundaries is so necessary.
Oh yes, it's good for you and the child.
Yes, and I know that when you don't set them, it is a disaster.
Mm-hmm.
And when I say a disaster, I'm talking about hurt feelings.
Yes.
Somebody gonna distance themselves from you.
Right.
If they don't like what you said or what you done, they, maybe, that's what they do. They distance themselves. It's like, no, I don't want to be around you. And I've had my kids say some hurtful things to me. And it's like,
oh yeah, they do.
I was a single mom. And when they saw you, they saw me. That's the way it was coming up. Mm-hmm. I would think I would be showered with so many blessings. But
you'll get those from other children.
Oh, the other children. Okay, well, I'm
waiting. You get those from other children until your children start acting right, and I'll say the same thing.
Oh, okay then. Okay, well, all right.
Because what is to love those that's lovable, but to love those that's unlovable.
Right.
That's what Christ does. So we just have to love them and keep going and praying that one day they'll see the light.
Right, and they will. Like I said, when we give them to God, let God deal with them. I think, and not saying I was trying to be God, but I guess in a sense I was their God. They kept running to me for everything. It's like, mama, mama this, mama that, and I'm trying to rescue my babies. And my daughter told mom, I'm not a kid anymore. Well, I knew that, but you're gonna always be my baby. I would tell them that, but like I say, it's still, I wasn't set the boundaries she was trying to set. I was ignoring them. Mm-hmm. I'm your mother. That's all it is. It's case closed. You know what I'm saying? But it's so wrong. But we do think like that. No, I think like that. That's how I thought.
Right. But I think, Pam, once the children, they get out there among the other teenagers and the peer pressure and the kids share with them what they're doing, they pick up some of those habits and they want to bring them home.
Influence.
Mm-hmm.
And you can have rules and regulations. That's not saying rules and regulations, but just standards and stuff you have in your home. And when they out there, they do pick up stuff. That's why my daughter can come to me and say, Mom, we need to be friends. We need to go get tattoos together. No, we're not doing that. You know what I'm saying? So I'm just saying, but now since she done got older, she said, well, Mama, I didn't understand. I understand now. But then that's the point when she started understanding, that's when I let her go and let go and quit worrying and stressing myself out about my daughter. I'm telling you, she came around. But if you'd have told me that 5 or 10 years ago, I thought this was going to be like this forever. This girl's stressing me out. But I'm saying, but now when I see her and she talks to me, it's like, wow, I could have saved myself a lot of pain, crying, hurt, feelings, everything.
Mm-hmm.
She did not appreciate me. I know she didn't, but it took life lessons to her to have 4 boys herself. And she has twins now. And she said, Mama, you know how I treated you? I have double. I have double. My twins are treating me double the way I treated you just by myself. So now that's what she said. She said, it's just me I'm getting back what I did to you.
Mm-hmm.
Every time they do something, I think about how I treated you. But I have twins to do this to me. So I tell you, man, but I mean, I thank God for boundaries. I thank God for parents that set them and stick to them. I thank God for the children out there, well, the adults, that when they set boundaries, whether they're good boundaries or bad, we still have to honor those. We can't say, I don't agree with this. And you know how you can agree to disagree?
Mm-hmm.
That's what you have to do. You just have to take what they say and move on. And it's not that we're moving on. You know, it's just that we have to honor what they say, because sometimes if you don't, they will distance themselves and they will dislike you. You know,
Of course. You know, I raised my kids in the church, all of them. You know,
okay,
and sometimes, you know, they resent that. They say when I leave home, I'm not going to church. You know, but still, you planted that seed within them. And I think that seed is going to be watered by someone. Right. I remember I had ordered a series of CDs. It was the Bible, right? And I accidentally sent them to my daughter. And so I didn't know what happened. So when I called her, asked her, I said, did you get anything? She said, well, did you send me something?
Well, don't you know if you sent me something?
Well, I said, well, did you get, asked her, did she get any biblical CD? She said, yes, I did. And Mama, I didn't need those. She said, you taught me all of that. I already knew everything in those books, in those CDs. So I sent them to the Goodwill.
Oh, wow. Okay. So,
you know how a parent feels, you know. So I said, well, somebody at that Goodwill needed those tapes.
Oh, yes, for real.
So you can't just literally look at things and allow yourself to get hurt by it. They don't understand what they're doing.
Right. That's true. But, you know, like I said, when they get older, they will.
Yeah, but they will. Well, she's older, so. But they will. But you know, our source is God, so we
it is.
have to believe that it's going to come to pass. You know,
work it out.
Good seeds that you planted in your children, they'll come forth. They might not come forth when you want them to, but they will.
Right, and I think that's what frustrates us, because we want them to see it now. We want them to acknowledge all the work we feel like we've done as parents. Don't you see what I've done? Don't you see I sacrificed my life for you? You know, I tell my kids I didn't have a life when y'all was coming up. I didn't have a life. It was about you guys. You know, I made sure that y'all had this and made sure y'all had that. You know, so it wasn't about me. And I tell anyone, I mean, and I say this to ladies sometimes that have children. It's not about you when they're little. But you'll have your time. You know, so now I say now it's like, okay, y'all grown now. Y'all done all left. Y'all left. Went y'all own way. Y'all done left me. You know what I'm saying? I put my life in y'all, but like I say, when y'all got grown, y'all putting y'all life in somebody else. So I say it's okay. It's okay. But like I say, that's why when we are parents and our kids are grown and they're gone, then it's time for us to do things. You know what I'm saying? Like I say, they don't set the boundaries. They don't tell us what they want. They don't tell us what they don't want us to do. So where do we go from there? Once they tell us, okay, hey, I have a husband now. I have a family now. You know, I might can't come over Thanksgiving. I might can't come over Christmas.
Right.
I have a husband. So those are boundaries right there. But guess what? We sit there like, okay, you didn't come over and visit me Thanksgiving. You know, so we get hurt.
We do.
Yeah, we get hurt.
And we also got to bring in the factor that mental health plays a factor in a lot of those situations. They
Mental
say
health.
that mental health,
Mhm,
most kids that suffer with mental health, it starts at the age of 15,
mhm,
14,
mhm.
and that's 50% of them, 50% of the children. And at age 24, 75% that suffer with mental health. So you've got to decide if if they need additional help,
Mhm,
to figure out themselves what they're going through. And we have a lot of suicide right now
mhm.
that's going around, and so we have to really look at those issues with our children. Is there a mental issue or factor there that we
Right.
need to talk about or discuss?
And you talking about children that are grown right now, right?
Yeah, adult children,
Adult
adult
children.
children. We're
Okay.
talking about,
Okay.
yeah. I mean, that it could start at home. It could start at 14, but it
Mhm,
goes to 24.
mhm.
So
Right.
yeah.
Oh, okay. Okay. Well, yeah.
So if it starts there and they take it on to adulthood, then you kind of look at it and say, well, maybe there's another issue there that needs to be addressed, and they may not want to address it.
Mhm, mhm. So
But
in a situation like that, like you talking about mental health, if you have a child who has need a little more extra help, and
hmm
they have left home, you know what I'm saying? They're grown now. So how do you handle that when it comes to boundaries with that? If a grown child need help, how do you
well,
handle that?
I think that you should just be honest with the child and just talk to them. Not be upset with them. Just uh, in a spirit of love. And if you feel somewhat disencouraged about talking to them, then you seek out someone to help you,
Right.
and then they could instruct you how you would talk to your grown adult child.
Mm-hmm.
If there are some issues you see there that needs to be addressed, like you say, you might, and then if you go and try to address it, they may get upset with you. So you
Right.
might need to go and see and talk to someone. How do I approach that situation? I see a pattern there in my child,
Mm-hmm.
and I'd like to help. And so it may not be you. You may not be the person that will do the helping. It may be an outsider. May be more influenced for the child than you.
Right. That's true. Because they
Hmm.
sometimes our kids they won't listen to us
That's
when
right.
we're
That's what I'm
younger,
saying.
and
Yeah.
as they're older now, they just don't listen to us sometimes. And you know, I mean, it's awesome to have a mom or dad when you have an issue or just need to talk to somebody that you can
Yeah.
talk to them instead of somebody else. But we all don't have that.
No, we all don't have that, and you really have to set boundaries with your grown adult children when they're constantly coming to you. I need this. I need you to sign for me to get a car. I need money. I need this.
Hmm.
You know. So you gotta get a clear understanding. You got to know when you have to say no.
That is so
If
true.
you tried it, you know, and it has failed, then don't try it again. Because you got to live. You got to keep your credit going, and you can't by constantly giving out money, signing for them to get a car, get a house, or whatever. You
Hmm.
made it, and they can make it too.
Right.
We
So,
struggle.
so
Sometimes struggling in life helps you to be strong,
that is
and you don't
true.
want to take that away from your children.
That is true. And I'm glad you
Even
brought.
though even though they may get upset with you, but eventually they'll make it.
That's true. And I'm glad you brought that up because you know what? I've had a couple of my children ask me to co-sign, like cars for them. And I think that's the worst thing a person can do is co-sign. I'm not just talking about your children. I'm talking about anybody.
Well, I'm talking. Well, that's okay. I did
Yeah.
it for mine, and I regret the day that I did it. I was happy that I did it because I was happy they had got transportation,
Right.
but I should have thought about that closely because a lot of their responsibility was put on was put on me.
Right.
Like I said, they feel that they're entitled. If they're late, they feel like you should pick up the slack. A lot of things that you put on yourself trying to help
Hmm.
show your children love.
That's right. Yeah.
Sometimes you got to be strong in some areas. Say no. You wait until you can get that car on your own. You wait until you save up the money to make that down payment.
Yes.
So and they appreciate the fact appreciate themselves more because they did it. You didn't do it. They did it.
That's right.
Even though they may be upset with you for a while, but that's okay.
Mhm.
You know, that's okay.
That's tough love, huh? That's tough love.
That's tough love, but it's a learning thing. It's a learn. You know, we learn through our trials and tribulations, through our
Mhm.
struggles in life. We never would learn if we didn't have them.
Right. Right.
Yeah. When I
is-
came to Dallas, I had one daughter, and I knew no one.
Mm.
And I established myself here.
Mhm.
I had to leave, you know, and I came to Dallas, and
Right.
I knew no one. So I tell my children or my grandchildren, listen, I came here knowing no one, but
Mhm.
I made it, you know. I made it. I stayed here, you know.
Right.
I set boundaries for myself. I got my job. I went to school,
Right.
graduated what I had to do.
Mhm. Yeah.
But
And you made it.
and I made it.
Mhm.
And I made it. And I was able to purchase my home, buy another one, or whatever I had to do. But I made it. But during those times,
Mhm.
I mean, I had some rough times,
Right.
as we all do, you know.
Yes. Yes. You know what?
Especially,
Go
Mhm.
ahead. Go ahead.
No, I said, especially being a Black woman, it's not always easy.
Mhm.
But you just have to keep going.
Well, what do you
Don't
think?
let those things stop you, you know,
You-
that come your way, you
Right.
know.
Well,
So
you said a Black woman. So what makes it hard for
we
us?
have limitations. A lot of limitations are for Black people.
Mhm.
You know what I mean? They don't seem to help you as they do the other. I'm not prejudiced or anything, but you know, things like that do happen.
Right.
But you know, we know it, we're aware of it, so we try to go around it, trying to find ways to keep going, keep focused on the goals that we prepared for ourselves.
Right.
And sometimes we give up. I was listening to I think you had a tape on last time you spoke on uh, uh, Steve Harvey, and I
Mhm.
was listening to him. He said, you know, he said, I don't have education. He said, I was so down, I didn't have nothing.
Mhm.
He said, but my mama told me, she said, boy, you just have to pray.
Mhm.
He said, I didn't have nothing. He said, and that's what I did. I prayed. And look where he is now.
Look where he is now.
Prayer, he said, now prayer does change things, and it does.
Yes.
You may not see him right away,
Mhm.
but in due time, you will. If you just be steadfast, unmovable, and keep your eyes on the prize, you will come out on top.
Right.
You may have to suffer a little bit,
Mhm.
but you will.
Mhm. And you know, I was thinking too when you was talking how, and I know I'm talking about boundaries with our adult children, right?
Right.
I'm somebody's child too. And so I'm going to talk about my relationship as far as like my mom. And I would always tell my kids, even though sometimes my mom, we don't have the best of a relationship, but I tell anyone, it does not matter. You still have to respect her. I have to respect her. And
right.
I tell my children that the age that I'm at now, the age that my mom is, age is not, when he say honor your father and your mother, he didn't say honor your father and mother if you 15 or 50. It's not an age on there. He said honor your father and your mother. So the thing about it, I don't care how old I get. Like I was telling my children, if I go to my mom's house at my age, I can't tell her I'm grown. It's called respect. If I move in my mom's house and she say, I need you to be at home at 12 o'clock, just don't come in my house. That's her house.
Right.
See, so it doesn't matter about an age. Sometimes children think because they're a certain age, I can come and go as I please. You can do that, but not in somebody else's house. You do that in your own house. That's why they need to have their own home. When you're in somebody else's house, you can't do what you want to do. When you go to that job, there are boundaries at your job.
Right.
There's boundaries if you get an apartment. There's certain things that, hey, wherever you go, there's boundaries. They're going to tell you what to do. And if you don't want to do what your parents say do in their homes, you're going to do what they say do when you move in that apartment complex.
Right.
Unless you're a homeowner, and even in a homeowner, you're gonna have boundaries on there. Don't move one of them neighborhoods where they tell you you can't have paper in your yard.
Or
Your
you gotta have that what is
your
that? You got a homeowner's insurance?
yeah, your fence too high. It's still people telling us what to do. It's still telling us what boundaries are.
Right.
So that's why I say, you know what, we have boundaries and we just have to respect it. And we agree to disagree when certain people say things to us.
Right.
You know, but hey, we have to do it. And when I say something that's a boundary for me, I want you to respect that and honor that too. So we have to respect each other. So anyway, so tonight, I just thank God for this boundaries with our adult children, you know, and I think it's a good topic to talk about. I think that it's needed, it's necessary. When I didn't have boundaries and I didn't set them, I looked at the consequences behind it, you know, and sometimes we have to ask ourselves, what could we have done better? Because I'm telling you what, it can either go either way, positive or negative, but it just depends on how you deal with it. So, you know, so anyway, so tonight, Shirley, so what can you tell that lady out there who's a single mom? And I'm saying single only because, like I say, because we're single. You had 4 babies, I had 5. There's a single mom out there that's listening. She might be on this line and she might be saying, I have adult children and they are so disrespectful to me. What can you tell her? And these adult children are in her home. I'm just saying, what do you tell that single mom out there who's struggling?
Well, I would tell her it's not to give up, you know, and not to blame herself because they are the way that they are. I mean, there's so many other avenues around her children that may cause that situation to happen. And first of all, you know, she's got to feel good about herself. She's got to know that it's not her fault and that there is a way out. She needs to reach probably to get help from a pastor, for someone that can reach out and help her. But don't give up.
Mm-hmm.
Don't give up. Some of our greatest people that we have are people that have started off not very well with drugs, with this, with that, and with this, but they turn out to be good people because they had a mother that stood behind them and loved them, even though they were not doing the right thing. So, like I do, my kids are not the way that I want them to be, but I believe in God's word that says if you live for Him, He will save your children, and that is my goal, and that's what gives me joy. And if I can come here and didn't know a soul in Texas and made it and went to school, you can do it too. You find something that you enjoy doing. Find something that you can get your mind off of the situation. And if you need help, don't be ashamed to go and find you some help. You need someone to talk to, someone to encourage you, because you're not the only one that's going through. We all have gone through.
So true.
And we all need to find ways to help one another. There's someone that can help you.
Yes.
Most of all, our source is God, and He can help you. Just like Steve Harvey said, I pray. My mama said, pray. He said, I prayed. He said, look where I am today. So what you see today may not be your future. Speak those things in existence that you want for your children. Speak over them positive things, you know. Sit them down and talk to them in a gentle way and tell them you love them. You want to know, what can I do to help you make things better for yourself? They may listen, they may not listen. But that's all you can do, is the best you can. Some of us, our children, some adults never have any problem with their children. They go on to school, get their education, whatever. But some of us are fortunate to have different type of children.
Right. You say fortunate. You say fortunate.
Fortunate. Because it helps us to grow. It helps us to be strong. It helps us to grow and to be strong. And that's what life about, you know. So I just want to say, have faith. Don't give up.
Right.
Don't look at the things don't look directly at the situation. look at a positive situation for the children. And by all means, find something for yourself to make you feel good about.
Right.
Stay focused.
Yeah, stay focused. That's it. And you have to encourage yourself.
Encourage yourself. Yeah.
Even if you can't find encouragement, you have to encourage yourself.
You have to encourage yourself. You have to encourage yourself, honey.
Yeah, and because like you said, a lot of times when our adults they leave home, and we're at home by ourselves now. No one is here, especially if you're not married. And we look at, okay, they were here and now they're gone. Now what do? You take care of yourself. You do for yourself. You're gonna always be a parent. That would never change. That will never change. The day that child was born, you are always a parent. But like I say, the parenting just changes when they become an adult. That is the only you still gonna be a parent no matter what. That's like a mama. You still gonna be a mama no matter what.
And things don't change overnight. It's some things with my children that I'm still waiting for it to happen. But I'm involved in things. I'm involved in activities, and so that I don't focus on those things.
Right.
I mean, I'm involved to feel good about myself and to and be able to help somebody else. And it's a good thing when you can help someone else, because it's like helping yourself.
So you take the focus off of you.
Yeah, the focus is off of you.
Somebody else. Yes. And that is true. That is true. Well, I tell you what, it's been good. I mean, I thank God for this show tonight. I really do, because it has started me to thinking. Because like I say, I have took myself through unnecessary stuff trying to be there for my children. And I'm still going to be there for them. If they need me, I'm right there. But guess what? I'm not waiting for them to need me. But when they need me, I'm there. But sometimes we wait around for them. Like, how we did when they was younger. We was there waiting. You don't have to wait anymore. When they're grown, you do you. You go out and do things that you like now. But we so used to serving and waiting on everybody else but ourselves. We're the last people we take care of.
We are a work in progress until the day we leave here.
Yes, I did it.
We are work in progress.
I did it. I was catering to everybody but Pam. Everybody. I left myself last. I fixed my plate last. I did all of that. But see, when your kids are all gone now you don't have to do all of that. But I guess we're so used to doing it. You know what I'm saying? It's like it's hard to what's that? What does it say? Transition to that change. Yes, it's like, okay, I know this is different, but how do I change from here to here? But like I say, once we get there, we're gonna say, man, I should have did this a long time ago. It's such a peace of mind. I can get up and go when I want to, you know what I'm saying? And then when you come together with your adult children, like I say, the grown babies, now you can come and try to fellowship. You ain't trying to run them. They're not trying to run your life as their mother, And now maybe we got to put our relationships in perspective. That's what I'm trying to say.
Right.
I respect you. You respect me. I'm not trying to control you. You don't try to control me, because you got children that will control their parents. They'll tell them, you're not doing this, you're not doing that. I've known children to control their parents. And it's not good, but like I say, it happens all the time, So anyway, tonight, I don't see any comments tonight, so I don't know if we have any. I wanted to address or answer some of them or just read them. Like I say, I hope that you enjoyed the show tonight. I thank God for Shirley Russell coming on tonight. Thank God for everything that she said, and I hope it helped somebody on this show. And but like I say, Shirley, thank you for coming on tonight.
Well, you are welcome.
Yeah,
I think we're all are going through something, and we'll help one to another.
Yes.
And we've said something that has helped you. We're thankful for that.
Yeah.
Very thankful. But we have to remember that our children are responsible for their actions, and we're not responsible for their actions.
That's right.
But they'll make us believe that we are, but we're not.
Mm-hmm. Well, have you ever had a kid tell you, "I'm the way I am because of you"?
Oh yeah, yeah. I've had grandchildren say, "I'm the way I am because of my mother."
Wow.
But I had my son say, my son is a community activist. He said, "I'm like this, Mom, because you were like this." He said, "You used to take us to the Salvation Army, to what else? Homeless shelters and all this kind of stuff. I used to take them. I drag them along with me."
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm. Well,
and my son, he does it now. So he says that. But I've had some issues with him too.
Right. Well, you was teaching him how to help other people. When you was going to those shelters, I'm quite sure you was teaching them something. You know what?
Oh, yeah, because I let them speak. And my oldest grandchild, I let him speak too. And they didn't all go the direction I wanted them to go, but I gave them the opportunity
right
to do some things when they were young. And I believe that it'll come back to them one day.
Well, like you said, look how he turned out, because you took him to the shelters when he was.
He tell me all the time. He said, "Mama," he said, I'm doing this because I got this from you. You used to take me to the VA, do all those health fairs and here and there." So I said, "Well, that's a good thing, you know."
Right.
Mm-hmm.
Well, at least he took something from that.
Yeah, he did. Yeah. And I was thankful that he honored me at one of his little functions, and I was just clapping my hand and just glad everybody else was getting honored. I didn't know they was gonna honor me too.
Okay. Well,
that was a plus. I think I got about $400 and the gifts and plaques, and I was just so surprised. But so some good things, some good things come out of our children,
Okay, see.
And
so we do touch their lives when they get grown, you know what I'm saying? And then some things they might do and some things they want to do on their own. They think that they can do it a better way.
Yeah, they think they can do it a better way.
Yeah, because
sometimes he think right now. I watch. Sometimes he said, "Well, I think I can do this." Okay. I say, evidently, I wouldn't have all the things I have if I didn't do it a good way.
Right.
So I say, you need to help. You need to learn some things from me too.
That is good.
In those areas of finance and stuff,
That is good. Yeah. Well, I mean, I'm just grateful for the process. I'm grateful for the journey, no matter what it was. I mean, it wasn't always smooth. It was rocky. With us as single moms, with our children. Sometimes, and I know as myself, when I was at home with my babies, I didn't let them see the things that they didn't need to see. Like if it was paying bills, they didn't need to see that part at that moment. But I still was teaching them. So when they become grown, you know what I'm saying, that they get out here, you're going to have responsibilities. You got to pay bills. Now when they was younger, now I don't know about other households. When my babies was younger and working, I didn't let them pay bills. Those are my bills. Good evening, beautiful lady. Thank you, Gloria. She said, "Good evening, beautiful ladies."
Well, good evening.
Yes, she said, "That's true, Elder Shirley," whatever you say. Thank you, Gloria. Good evening, my sisters. Thank you, Catherine Cooks. Do y'all have a question out there before we close? Y'all send a question in for us. See if we can answer it. I'll let Shirley answer.
Oh, wow.
Since I'm the host, I'm going to give it to her. Y'all give us some questions, or one question, because we have like less than 4 minutes.
4 minutes. Wow.
Sometimes our children are part of generational curses that need to be broken. How are you going to answer that, Shirley?
Break the curse.
Okay, well, how do they break the curse when it's a
curse? My thing of breaking a curse, you're going to speak the word over that curse.
Okay.
First of all, I think that you need to talk to that child, explain about what they're going through. And if you see that pattern has trickled on down to many of your family, then it's time for you to break that curse. You can break it through prayer, and you can break it through mental health if they need it.
Okay. So where do generational curses come from when it comes to families?
It comes from It comes
The
from
mother
your
side, the father side. I mean,
it can come from either side.
either side.
If you know your mother, if you know your father, you can pretty much tell where it came from.
Right.
So
is it a pattern or something that they're doing that the mother and father was doing? Is that what it is?
I believe so. I believe that it's something that was passed on down. Some good things to pass and some bad things to pass. And
it's a curse that's not good.
No, it's not. It's not.
Okay, it's a good thing.
It's not. And we can cut that thing off early.
Not good, y'all.
if we can cut that off early,
right,
it'll be good.
That's right.
So we don't want it to go to the next generation.
That is so true. Okay. Well, I think we have like 3 minutes. I hear the music. So what is your last, whatever you want to say before we cut off or we end this night? What is something that's on your mind that it's like, I want someone to just hear this tonight before I get off? Can you think of anything? Shirley, you there?
Oh, you asking me?
I was asking you, yes.
Oh, I'm sorry. I thought you was asking the audience. Would you repeat that, please?
I say, what is one thing before we end tonight? We have 2 minutes. What's your last remarks to someone out there?
My last remark.
An encouraging word to that.
My encouraging word to you is that never give up.
Oh, I like that.
There's always tomorrow.
Yes.
You can only handle one day at a time. You don't know what's going to happen tomorrow. Enjoy this day. You'll never see this day again. When I go walk in the God's nature and I'm starting back to walking, I see the trees and blowing and, they just seem so peaceful. And, that's why God wants us to be peaceful.
That's right. Okay. So I just thank everyone for tuning in tonight. Y'all have a good night. And Shirley, thank you for joining me.
Thank you for allowing me to be on the program.
All right. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Y'all have a good night.